You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
I feel funny. Is this real life?
Yes, this is real life.
I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me.
Don't touch your stitches, Justin. Bieber, don't touch your stitches.
What's happening?
No. Bieber, stop.
You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers. I have 3 fingers. Is this gonna last forever?
Justin, stop it.
Yeah, you pressing Bieber?
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? Like I'm calling you, ain't answering.
Yeah, that was low.
That was weird,
That was crazy.
That was weird. They did not run through Bieber.
There was. Why you not answering your phone? Like, yo,
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. But you never really got my number, so.
Right, okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 55.
Yeah. No, I mean, to a lot of us, he's like a little brother. You know what I'm saying? He's not afraid to call and ask for advice. He's somebody that, in the industry-wise, the record industry is a strong family, and he's somebody that, we definitely have our arms around, and we want to protect him because he's such genuinely a nice person besides his talent. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the greatest kids that you could ever know.
Justin, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
That's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
For years, the industry dismissed the warning signs as nothing more than background noise. Awkward interviews were laughed off, uncomfortable footage became viral memes, and serious questions were quietly sidestepped. But now, with 50 Cent's explosive documentary reigniting long-silence conversations, every overlooked detail is being pulled back into the light, and every whisper that once faded away is echoing louder than ever. At the center of it all stands Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most influential figures in music, and the broader culture surrounding young artists who stepped into an industry shaped by power, pressure, and unchecked influence. This isn't about gossip or fleeting viral moments. It's about authority, silence, and how uncomfortable truths can remain buried for years when too many people decide it's safer not to look too closely.
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Justin Bieber's rise was framed as a modern-day fairy tale, an overnight sensation discovered online and launched into global superstardom beneath the harshest spotlight imaginable. But behind the headlines and screaming fans was a far more complex reality. A teenager coming of age inside an industry fueled by power, access, and immense influence. In recent years, resurfaced interviews and public moments have reignited debate about how young artists are ushered into adult spaces far too quickly, often navigating blurred boundaries and overwhelming pressure while the world watches. At the time, much of it was dismissed as harmless celebrity culture. In hindsight, many argue those moments warranted deeper reflection and accountability. This isn't about a single clip or one controversial headline. It's about normalization, about a system that can reward silence, discourage scrutiny, and continue forward regardless of the personal cost. And it leaves an unsettling but necessary question hanging in the air. When extraordinary young talent is shaped by forces far larger than themselves, who ultimately bears the responsibility?
Look at Usher. What Usher say? I seen some things I shouldn't have been seeing at that age. What does that tell you? That he's seen some things, he was around some things when he was young that he shouldn't have been at a Diddy party. So that's going to show you that there are certain things that are happening that's going on that here it is, this kid was saying he shouldn't even seen it and been around it himself. So all the other celebrities who saw it and they stand quiet about it. Ain't that in our culture? No snitching. And I felt a certain way when Usher got on Shay Shay, and I don't mean to mention other people's platforms, but he got on Shay Shay and he mentioned how great and how good Puff taught him and everything. You know what I'm saying? About the business, right? I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know
For years, 50 Cent deliberately cast himself as an outsider to Sean Diddy Combs' inner circle, someone who claimed to see the culture surrounding it but refused to participate. At the time, many brushed off his remarks as little more than industry rivalry or calculated provocation. But as legal scrutiny intensifies and public perception continues to evolve, those same statements are resurfacing with renewed gravity, prompting a sharper examination of their context, timing, and intent. This doesn't validate every allegation, nor does it settle every debate. What it does underscore, however, is how warnings can circulate long before formal acknowledgement ever arrives, often dismissed simply because they come from a voice deemed controversial or inconvenient. And it leaves a lingering, uncomfortable question. How many early signals are overlooked, not because they lack substance, but because the messenger makes people uneasy?
He dropped the song, it went over our heads. Which it's actually video? About P. Diddy this whole time. Which video? The song Lonely. Let me see. Everybody knows my past. I'm so with maybe that's the price you pay for the money and fame at an early age. He even came out and said stuff about how when he was younger, he was being taken advantage of, which is true. The problem was being a victim of the diddler. What happens? Because he has so much dirt on you, if you go out into the public, he may have videos, he may have embarrassing things, he might even have incriminating footage of you doing things that you were forced to under the influence to do.
Sean Diddy Combs' influence has long stretched far beyond hit records and chart dominance, reaching into the very rooms where careers are accelerated, alliances are formed, and futures are quietly decided. Access to those spaces has often depended less on transparent systems and more on proximity to powerful gatekeepers operating within tightly controlled networks. Justin Bieber's closeness to that world was not an isolated circumstance, but a reflection of a broader industry dynamic, one in which opportunity frequently flows through influence, relationships, and private channels rather than open, accountable pathways. It paints a revealing picture of how success can be shaped behind closed doors, where power determines who rises, who waits, and who is never invited in at all.
Guys, the leaked video of Justin Bieber partying with P. Diddy has just emerged and it looks horrifying. Bieber was not in his right state of mind. Here's the video.
Oh, he's bad boy now.
Look at that. Whoa, look at that.
Here's your icon alert.
Look at that.
It's called,
Does that look normal to you guys? What's going on here? He gets down on his knees, starts drinking. Diddy right there. Look at his eyes.
The deeper issue isn't limited to what may or may not have occurred behind closed doors. It centers on how accountability can erode within a system where advancement is inseparable from proximity to power. When opportunity hinges on access, lines that should remain firm begin to blur. Healthy caution is reframed as disloyalty, and self-protection is perceived as resistance rather than wisdom. In environments shaped by influence and hierarchy, silence can feel safer than scrutiny, and compliance can appear more rewarding than conviction. Ultimately, the real conflict becomes one of control. Who genuinely holds the freedom to refuse, to set boundaries, to walk away, and who bears the consequences when they find the courage to say no?
I'm tired of Usher. I wish somebody would come out and just like sue him. Like, we need Usher. No, we do. We need a victim to come out and be honest about him. Because what I'm realizing is that he's going to fake the funk until the victim, man. He's just going to keep on sucking the devil's. And I don't know, like with a baby, that pacifier, sometimes you got to pull it out. You know what I'm saying? And take it away. Right? When the babies used to sucking on the pacifier. That motherfucker gonna keep sucking on that shit until you do what? Till you take it out the mouth. Now it's gonna scream and holler, but eventually it will get used to the fact that his mouth is no longer full with that object. And that it's time to just, learn how to live without it. He been sucking on Diddy's dick a long time. It's time for him to learn how to make this thing happen without the devil's dick in his mouth or ass.
Oh, you don't think if he sued, he'll just Lil Woody the situation and I don't recall? I don't recall.
No, because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Long before Justin Bieber's meteoric rise to global fame, Usher had already spoken candidly about entering Sean Diddy Combs' world as a teenager, describing an environment that introduced him to adult pressures long before he was fully prepared to navigate them. That reflection is significant, not as rumor or hindsight speculation, but as historical context. When similar patterns surface across different generations, coincidence begins to lose credibility, and deeper structural concerns come into view. Influence, access, and unchecked authority appear to pass forward with little meaningful reform. If discomfort and vulnerability were acknowledged once before, the pressing question remains: why was the system left intact when the next young artist stepped onto the same path?
I seen that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that. He had already been to the hospital. That situation that Gene was talking about. And you still took Bieber there. But you got custody of him first. Diddy had already tried. They wouldn't let him. Actually, someone made reference to the fact that Diddy trying to get at Bieber the way he was trying to get at Bieber was looking a little predatory. And then Usher came in and discovered it and managed him and got custody of him and promised to look after him. And then he sent him to the diddler. Does that sound like a good guy?
It's horrible.
Does that sound like a good guy? Now that we know what Diddy's really like, what kind of fucking asshole do you gotta be to take another boy, another talented boy, and put him in your place so it ain't gotta be you?
As scrutiny surrounding Sean Diddy Combs intensified, a noticeable shift occurred. Former allies grew quieter, carefully distancing themselves, while 50 Cent became increasingly vocal, spotlighting what many describe as an unspoken industry code. In that world, speaking out can jeopardize powerful relationships, while silence preserves them. Over time, loyalty and self-preservation blur into the same instinct. This dynamic is driven less by raw fear and more by calculated survival, where truth is weighed against career stability, and every word carries potential consequence. In an environment where discretion is rewarded and candor can cost you everything, one pressing question lingers. If silence is the safest strategy, can genuine accountability ever truly take root?
Usher look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And what did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this with me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the frosted flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was stupid. Listen, having a good time.
Usher is a procurer. And if Usher knew what was going to happen to any of those young children that he took to the Flavor Freak off, is he a good guy? Especially considering what happened to him. Especially considering that he sat with Howard Stern, and Howard Stern said, would you send your kids to Puffy's Flavor Camp? And his immediate response was, hell no! So it's good enough for everybody else's kids, but it's not good enough for yours. Yours are just good enough to die in Lake Lanier with no real investigation. Got it? Like, these aren't good people!
All right, Jeff.
He's not good! He's a And the simple fact that Justin Bieber literally made a public statement and said, Usher asked me to do the Super Bowl with him and I turned it down.
Run for the hills.
Why would he turn it down? Who turns down the Super Bowl?
Justin Bieber has never publicly accused Sean Diddy Combs of criminal wrongdoing. Yet his candid reflections in later years about anxiety, instability, and emotional burnout add meaningful context to a far more layered narrative. He has spoken openly about the crushing pressure of global fame at a young age, about being surrounded by powerful adults with competing agendas, and navigating extraordinary success without the emotional tools or protective framework necessary to safeguard his well-being. That history doesn't offer simple conclusions or direct allegations, but it complicates any attempt to reduce the story to headlines. Instead, it underscores a deeper reality: the hidden cost of growing up too quickly in an environment where protection was never clearly prioritized.
Yeah, and she's crazy. She's a superstar.
Superstar, right? So, so you're there and you see her and you see the way she's reacting to you. And I wonder what was going through your mind, because I've never had a chance to ask you that, because I know what was going through her mind because I've never had a chance to ask her that. And it's pretty clear in the video what's going through her mind. She can't even. What was going through your mind when you saw that kind of reaction? And also now in the knowledge that you were just coming out of that space yourself.
I wanted to protect the moment. You know, I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to get. You know, we never know how many opportunities we're going to get with anybody. I mean, I'm tearing up thinking about it, just with the Kobe situation, you know. just never know. And so I just wanted to be a good example, you know, and yeah.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, you know, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, you know, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments, because people take for granted encounters, and yeah, so yeah, I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. Yeah, rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one?" And he was like, "Let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out." So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta, where I got to meet him again, and he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like, what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
This isn't about issuing a legal verdict. It's about acknowledging human impact. Harm doesn't always announce itself through dramatic accusations or unmistakable headlines. Often, it reveals itself years later as emotional strain, fractured stability, or pain that was never fully articulated. In systems where relentless pressure and early exposure are woven into the foundation, damage doesn't require a single explosive event. It can accumulate quietly, layer by layer, until the cost becomes impossible to ignore. And that reality forces an unsettling question into the spotlight. If the issue is structural rather than isolated, why do we insist on one definitive accusation before admitting that something, somewhere, clearly went wrong?
Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish. And he was like, he was broke, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billie. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters. He ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem, and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, I grew up with his parents. I knew his parents. He said, and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. The woman that they're saying is his mother was a prostitute, no whore. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, but that woman is his aunt.
Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers. Diddy's story is so convoluted, but nobody really likes talking about who he was before he became Puffy. Nobody, like, I would love if I could be granted an interview with him. To interview Diddy now in his most raw state about his life up until the age of 15 only. We got to learn how to stop making Diddies. What made him him? Now, his pedigree comes from rat background. His father was a rat, snitch. Not revered. He turned on Frank Lucas, who was the king of Harlem. And yet, Diddy was able to, siphon off enough of that juice, just enough to get people, but he needed Gene. Think about this. Gene was more of a father figure to Diddy than he was a bodyguard. And Gene was more than a bodyguard, he was an investigator. So when they went separate ways, clearly, he couldn't.
When Sean Diddy Combs' story moved into a federal courtroom, the narrative shifted from rumor and speculation to formal scrutiny, anchored in evidence, legal procedure, and verifiable outcomes. Indictments, motions, rulings, and potential appeals established firm boundaries around what could responsibly be asserted, while simultaneously widening the lens to include the institutions that enabled the broader environment. Courts are built to evaluate individual conduct, not to dissect entire cultures of power, and within that distinction lies a critical gap. The proceedings may determine legality, but legality alone does not define morality, nor does a procedural conclusion erase the possibility of systemic harm. And so, even when a case reaches its official end on paper, a deeper question lingers. Does accountability conclude with a verdict, or is that precisely where the real reckoning begins?
Looking at any black guys that are A-listers that's bigger than Diddy, there's only one that I could come up with. And there's a few I could come up with. Will Smith. He's bigger than Diddy. I would think Nick Cannon is bigger than Diddy. Who else on the black that are black actors or black in the business that's an A-lister that's bigger than Diddy, that's black? That's hard to think. But then if you got the A-listers, you got to realize he ran with that black, that Rat Pack. And I don't want to even say their names because they said I got their names wrong last time. What's his name? Kushner? What's the other guy? Leonardo? Yeah, his name. Man, I don't keep up with these cats. But I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So there's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they're really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real.
The convergence of 50 Cent, Sean Diddy Combs, and Justin Bieber exposes a broader reality about celebrity-driven ecosystems. Systems where influence expands rapidly, vulnerability is often minimized, and accountability tends to arrive late, if at all. In this environment, youth is packaged as raw authenticity, privileged access is reframed as mentorship, and silence is praised as professionalism. Over time, those reframed narratives normalize imbalance, making dynamics that should raise concern feel routine instead of alarming. This is not a story rooted in absolute conclusions or aimed at a single figure. It is about recurring conditions that continue to generate similar consequences. And when the same structures repeatedly produce the same fallout, one unavoidable question rises to the surface. At what point does the system itself stop fading into the background and start becoming the real story?